We live in a world of instant gratification. Temptations are everywhere. Our smartphones buzz with notifications, social media feeds endlessly refresh with captivating content. These distractions fight for our attention, making it harder than ever to focus on what truly matters. We find ourselves trapped in a cycle of seeking pleasure and avoiding discomfort, often at the expense of our well-being. This constant stimulation can lead to addiction-like behaviors. We become hooked on the quick hits of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. Companies exploit this vulnerability, designing platforms and products that keep us glued to our screens. Our attention spans shrink, our productivity plummets, and we find it increasingly difficult to find joy in the offline world. But there is hope. We can break free from this cycle of distraction and reclaim control of our lives. By understanding the science behind our cravings and the tactics used against us, we can develop healthier habits and find lasting satisfaction. It's time to fight back against the attention economy and prioritize our mental well-being. The human brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. It's a survival mechanism that served us well for centuries. However, in today's digital landscape, this ancient wiring is being hijacked. Tech companies have mastered the art of exploiting our dopamine system, creating products and platforms that trigger a relentless cycle of craving and reward. Every notification, like, and comment releases a small surge of dopamine in the brain. This feels good, encouraging us to repeat the behavior. We get stuck in a loop, constantly checking our phones, refreshing our feeds, and seeking the next hit of digital dopamine. This cycle can be incredibly addictive, leading to compulsive use and a diminished ability to control our impulses. Over time, this constant stimulation can have detrimental effects on our mental health and well-being. We may experience increased anxiety, depression, and difficulty sleeping. Our relationships can suffer as we prioritize our digital lives over real-world connections. Breaking free from this dopamine loop is crucial for reclaiming control of our attention and living fulfilling lives. We often tell ourselves that we're in control of our technology use. We can stop checking our phones anytime we want, right? The reality is it's not that simple. Tech companies employ sophisticated techniques to make their products as addictive as possible. They use persuasive design, variable rewards, and social pressure to keep us hooked. Persuasive design makes it incredibly easy to use a product or platform. Think about how effortless it is to scroll through your social media feed or watch just one more video on YouTube. Variable rewards keep us coming back for more by offering unpredictable bursts of pleasure. We never know when we'll get that satisfying notification or see that funny meme. Social pressure adds another layer of persuasion as we compare ourselves to others and feel the need to stay connected. The truth is, we're often not in control as we think we are. Our brains are being manipulated by algorithms and design choices that exploit our evolutionary vulnerabilities. Recognizing these tactics is the first step towards regaining control and making conscious choices about our technology use. The average person spends over 3 hours per day on their smartphone. That's over 1,000 hours a year. This time adds up quickly, taking away from valuable activities like spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies, and simply being present in the moment. We often don't realize how much time we're losing to our devices until we take a step back and assess our habits. Imagine what you could accomplish with an extra 3 hours in your day. You could start that business you've always dreamed of, learn a new language, or simply spend more quality time with your family and friends. Reclaiming this lost time can have a profound impact on your happiness, productivity, and overall well-being. While it's unrealistic to completely eliminate smartphone use, we can certainly reduce our dependence and make more mindful choices about how we spend our time. By setting boundaries, prioritizing real-world connections, and finding alternative activities to occupy our time, we can break free from the grip of excessive smartphone use and reclaim our lives. Dopamine fasting, a reset button. Enter dopamine fasting, a trendy practice that involves abstaining from pleasurable activities to reset the brain's reward system. The idea is to reduce dopamine levels, thereby decreasing cravings and impulsive behaviors. While the concept sounds promising, it's important to understand the science behind it and whether it lives up to the hype. Proponents of dopamine fasting claim that it can help break addictions, improve focus, and increase overall happiness. By abstaining from activities that trigger dopamine release, such as social media, video games, and junk food, individuals aim to reset their baseline dopamine levels and reduce their dependence on these activities. However, the scientific evidence supporting these claims is limited. Dopamine fasting often involves complete abstinence from certain activities, which can be difficult to maintain and may not be necessary for everyone. It's important to approach this practice with caution and consult with a healthcare professional if you have any concerns. It's not about dopamine. Despite its name, dopamine fasting isn't actually about reducing dopamine levels. Dopamine is a complex neurotransmitter involved in various brain functions, including motivation, reward, and movement. Completely eliminating dopamine is neither feasible nor desirable. Instead, dopamine fasting is more about using behavioral interventions such as cognitive behavioral therapy to change our relationship with pleasurable activities. CBT helps us identify and modify unhealthy thought patterns and behaviors that contribute to addiction and impulsivity. By understanding our triggers, developing coping mechanisms, and setting realistic goals, we can regain control over our actions. Dopamine fasting can be seen as a form of exposure therapy, where we gradually expose ourselves to triggers in a controlled environment to reduce their power over us. This approach, when combined with CBT techniques, can be effective in breaking free from addictive behaviors and developing healthier habits. Dopamine fasting 2.0 takes a more balanced and sustainable approach than its predecessor. Instead of complete abstinence, it emphasizes mindful engagement and setting healthy boundaries. This version recognizes that not all pleasures are inherently bad and that we can enjoy them without letting them control our lives. The key is to be intentional about our choices. Instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media, we can set aside specific times for it and limit our exposure. We can choose to engage in activities that bring us genuine joy and fulfillment, such as spending time in nature, pursuing hobbies, or connecting with loved ones. Dopamine fasting 2.0 is about finding a healthy balance between indulgence and restraint. It's about being present in the moment, savoring the good things in life, and making conscious choices that support our overall well-being. We live in a world that constantly bombards us with distractions and temptations. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and powerless against the allure of instant gratification. However, we are not helpless victims. We have the power to take back control of our attention, our time, and our lives. The first step is awareness. Recognize the tactics used by tech companies to keep us hooked. Pay attention to how much time you spend on your devices and how it makes you feel. Once you understand the problem, you can start implementing solutions. Set boundaries for your technology use. Create phone-free zones in your home and designate specific times for checking emails and social media. Find alternative activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, such as reading, exercising, or spending time in nature. Remember, your attention is your most valuable resource. It's what you pay attention to that shapes your thoughts, your emotions, and ultimately your life. Don't let tech companies dictate how you spend this precious resource. Make conscious choices about what you allow into your mind and your life. Dopamine fasting, in its balanced and sustainable form, can be a valuable tool for regaining control and finding greater peace and fulfillment. It's not about deprivation, but rather about making intentional choices that align with your values and goals. The choice is yours. Will you continue to be a slave to the dopamine loop, or will you break free and live a life of purpose and intention? You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with small, manageable changes. Try putting your phone away for an hour each day, or designating one day a week as a digital detox day. As you become more comfortable, you can gradually increase the duration and intensity of your dopamine fasts. Remember, it's a journey, not a race. There will be setbacks along the way, but don't let them discourage you. The important thing is to keep moving forward one step at a time. By making conscious choices and prioritizing your well-being, you can break free from the grip of addiction and create a life of focus, fulfillment, and joy.